जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So yesterday we read about how there are different stages: rag, anurag, bhav, mahabhav, and Srimati Radharani is always in mahabhav, that is the highest, and how one reaches to those levels. So we read about that today. Let's continue. When one actually becomes situated on the transcendental platform, he becomes steady. So, right now, what happens? Some days are very good, some days are not that good. Some days we are able to chant very nicely, other days, somehow, we are just coping up with it. So, we are still not steady. But when somebody reaches or is on the transcendental platform and is situated on that platform, then he becomes steady. Everything that he does becomes steady. Unless one is so situated, his position is not steady and he may fall down. When one is actually situated transcendentally, there is no fear of falling down. So pure devotees, they never fall down. They are never attacked by Maya. But for us, we should be very careful. So we should always, the most important three things is listening Guru Vani, listening to the classes of our spiritual master every day, even if that is for 5 minutes also, uh, and reading Srila Prabhupada books every day, even if that is just few lines, and our chantings, our uh, designated number of rounds. This is very, very important. And association of devotees. So listening is also association of devotees. In fact, that is the most important and the best way of associating with devotees. So these are very important things so that we don't get attacked by Maya and so that we don't fall down, because it's very difficult to even understand whether we are attacked by Maya or not. We are always in Maya only. But if we are attacked in a very bhayanak way, then we may not even realize when we are falling down and when we have already fallen down. So we should be very careful. And this stage, when somebody is situated fully transcendental level, then that stage is called sthai bhav. There are further developments within this stage. Now, in sthai bhav also, there are further developments or further levels known as vibhav, anubhav, sattvic, and vyabhichari. When these four ingredients are added to the steadfast position of the pure transcendental life, there is actually an exchange of rasa. That's where the rasa comes in, or the transcendental mellows with the Supreme Lord. This exchange in loving reciprocation between the lover and the beloved is generally called Krishna Bhakti Rasa, the transcendental taste of exchanging loving sentiments between the devotee and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It should be noted, however, that the transcendental loving exchanges stand on the steadfast position of sthai bhav as explained above. In our level, we should not think that we already have developed some relation, some rasa, and we should not start doing it, our services according to that rasa. Otherwise, we'll become sahajya, prakrit sahajiyas, which is again a very dangerous stage. So we should be very careful. We should follow the instructions that is given by our acharyas, our guru, our shiksha guru, mentor, guide. Whatever it is, we should do our services based on those instructions. Even if we have a strong urge of doing something else, we should always seek guidance. Otherwise, we will fall into this sahajya prakrit sahajyas. So, because these rasas are exchanged with the Supreme Lord only after somebody is on the steadfast position of sthai bhav, which is explained above, which we just read. The basic principle of vibhav is sthai bhav, and all other activities are auxiliary for the development of transcendental love. The ecstasy of transcendental love has two components. the context, and the cause of the excitement. Now, when somebody is in exchange in that platform, exchanging transcendental loving relationship with the Supreme Lord, that person experiences ecstasies. And this ecstasy has two components. The context, that what happened, and then this pure devotee started experiencing ecstasy. And what is the cause of the excitement? What caused that ecstasy to happen? The context is also divided into two parts, the subject and the object. The exchange of devotional service is the subject. So, let me share a little incident here. So, Mahaprabhu's one of Mahaprabhu's Parshad, Mukunda Sarkar. So he actually in Gaur Leela, Mukunda Sarkar is Vrinde Devi in Krishna Leela. Mukunda Sarkar is Vrinde Devi. So so he was a medical practitioner in Gaur Leela, Mukunda Sarkar. He's a medical practitioner and Vedji as we call. And his medicines are so powerful. It, something that no other doctors are able to cure. Mukunda Datta's medicines are so powerful and so effective that it can cure any disease. Now, once it so happened that the king, the emperor, uh, he was a Muslim emperor, but um, he respected Mukunda Sarkar a lot because he knew that this Mukunda Sarkar is not some ordinary person. He could understand that within his heart. Now, once it so happened that this emperor was sick for such a long time, and none of the doctors could actually cure him. Nothing was working for his sickness. So then they requested Mukunda Sarkar to come and investigate what is wrong with the emperor. So Mukunda Sarkar came and he was investigating the emperor. And at that time, the servants of the emperor, because he is a king, so the servants came and started fanning the king with the peacock feathers. And as soon as Mukunda Sarkar saw the peacock feathers, he remembered the peacock feather on the head of Krishna and he fainted because that instigated that ecstasy within him and he couldn't control himself and he fell unconscious. And as soon as he fell unconscious, everybody thought, oh, what happened to Mukund Sarkar? You know, he is the Veggie. And this has never happened earlier, that he has never fallen sick like this. What happened to him? So everybody got concerned. The emperor understood that what has happened. And the emperor got up. And then when Mukunda Sarkar was revived, when he got back his consciousness, the emperor asked him that, so what happened to you, Veggie? And the pure devotees, they will never ever uh, disclose these kinds of feelings and emotions to the normal people or to the general people. They will never reveal these things. This is a very internal, very private, very personal relationship and very personal exchanges. So he said, no, actually, I did not eat properly in the morning, and I also have this episodes of what is that called? Epilepsy. So I sometimes get these epilepsy attacks. So this is just one of them. It's nothing to worry. And then the emperor started smiling. He said that Mukunda Sarkar, you may say anything, and you may by whatever you say, others may believe you, but I know what is the truth. I know that it is what has really caused this kind of you falling unconscious. And the emperor knew within his heart that it is the peacock feather that has brought. So here why I'm narrating this incident is that here the description is given that ecstasy of transcendental love has two components, the context and the cause of the excitement. The cause of excitement has become that, okay, by seeing the peacock feather, but what is the context? He is reminded of Krishna. The context is also divided into two parts, the subject and the object. The exchange of devotional service is the subject, and Krishna is the object. With whom are we exchanging devotional service? The devotee is always exchanging devotional service for Krishna, towards Krishna. So Krishna is always the object, and the subject is the devotional service. The yeah, I mean the doing of devotional service, that is the subject matter. So that this just I just thought, let me narrate this incident so that we understand that it is not always necessary that just by looking at Krishna only the pure devotees are remembering Krishna. The pure devotees are always in remembrance of Krishna. They can never forget Krishna, but in certain situations, certain things, they instigate this ecstasy so furiously within them, so fiercely within them, that there is a very outward I mean, it can be seen outwardly also. Sometimes our spiritual master, when I've seen His Holiness Param Pujya Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj, whenever he says Gauranga, he starts, he's literally like, he cannot control his ecstasy. Although it is so difficult for him to raise his hands, but when he's saying Gauranga, he raises his hand and he's literally vibrating. So we can see that ecstasy, but Guru Maharaj never wants to show those ecstasies externally. He does not want to show off because these are very intimate. And somebody who's a genuine devotee will always hide these kinds of emotions. When they are doing kirtan, when Maharaj, Parampuja Radhanath Maharaj is doing kirtan, the kirtan is so powerful. This year when we went for the Kartik Yatra, such powerful kirtan that one day I was so tired, and I didn't have the energy to even stand up. But as soon as Maharaj started doing the kirtan, I started jumping because that is the potency. When our spiritual master, when bona fide pure devotees, when they are doing kirtan, they are not just singing the words. They are not just singing Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. They are literally with their love, with their devotion, they are literally bringing Radharani and Krishna right on that spot. That is the potency, and in their presence itself, you can feel the ecstasy. So such pure devotees, they can easily give that kind of ecstatic, transcendental love to anybody, to neophytes like me as well. So what to speak of who are very sincere devotees? So this is the power of a pure devotee. Yeah, coming back to our reading. The exchange of devotional service is the subject and Krishna is the object. His transcendental qualities are the causes of excitement. So Krishna's transcendental qualities are the causes of excitement. So one of his qualities that he's wearing the peacock feather, just by seeing the peacock feather, which was used for fanning the king, but he's seeing the peacock feather and he's seeing Krishna. So somebody may just look at the blue color of the wall and then suddenly remember Krishna, and they may think, oh, Krishna is this color, so beautiful. They are not looking at the wall. They have no sense that they are looking at the wall. They are seeing Krishna there. Sometimes they may see something black. Oh, some black hair. Oh, Krishna. Krishna's color is black. This is how pure devotees, every moment they are with Krishna. But externally, if we see them, we will not understand any of these things. It is not possible to identify a pure devotee with our material eyes and material senses. This means that a devotee who becomes enamored by the transcendental qualities of Krishna becomes excited to serve him. Any devotee who is attracted by the transcendental qualities of Krishna, they will automatically feel excited to serve him in some way or the other. The impersonal Mayavadi philosophers say that the absolute truth is nirgun. Nir means no, without, and gun means qualities. So the Mayavadi philosophers, they use this word nirgun. They make out the meaning as that the supreme lord or the absolute truth does not have any qualities. Does not have any qualities means what? Does not have a form, has no particular style, no body color, nothing. If there is no form, then where is the question of any kind of decoration or any kind of makeup or anything, isn't it? When we imagine a form, then comes that, oh, Krishna is nicely decorated with sandalwood paintings around his face and peacock feather and his very nice jewelry. His smile is so beautiful, his teeth are so beautiful, his tongue is so beautiful, and his lips are so beautiful, the cheeks are so beautiful, his eyes, wow, they are so beautiful. And when we think of the form, then we know that, okay, if there is a form, then there are his paraphernalia also. The cows are there, the deers are there, the flowers around him, the rivers, Ma Yamuna, Yamuna Devi flowing beside him, the trees that are there, everything, the gopas, the gopis. That's when you understand, okay, if there is a form, then all these things are there. But for the Mayavad philosophers, they say that Krishna has no qualities, has no form. Then where is the question of any of these things? But a Vaishnava philosophers say that the absolute truth is described as Nirgun because he has no material qualities. He has only transcendental qualities. This is not to say that he has no spiritual qualities. Indeed, the Lord's spiritual qualities are so great and so enchanting that even liberated persons, the four Kumars, they were all liberated, but they were so attracted to the just the smell of the tulsi leaf that was there in the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. That smell attracted them so much. Just imagine the fragrance that is coming out of the transcendental body of Krishna is so enchanting. When somebody gets that, then I have heard from a devotee that sometimes when they are chanting the name, uh, so this devotee was not actually wanting to tell it to me, but I just happened to hear it. That once they were chanting the holy names, and they could smell a beautiful fragrance coming from somewhere, and they were so enchanted, like the deers, they start running after that musk smell. They don't know that musk is actually in their own navel. It is coming from there only, but they start finding where the smell is coming from. So these things are experienced by devotees many times. So Krishna's qualities, everything is so enchanting that even liberated persons, they become attracted to him. This is explained in the Atmaram verse of Srimad Bhagavatam 1.7.10, where it is said that those who are already situated on the platform of self realization are attracted by the transcendental qualities of Krishna. This means that Krishna's qualities are not material, but they are pure and they are transcendental. They transcend all these material world and the material qualities and everything. So, Krishna willing, we'll continue reading tomorrow again. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for your most invaluable association. Vancha kalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Shila Jai Pataka Swami Guru Maharaj ki jai. Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.